Mulch. What is it and why do we use it? Got a couple misconceptions about mulch. Let's talk about it. The one question I get more than anything else is, what do I use for mulch? Well, I use any organics I can get my hands on. Whenever we mow, I like to use the grass clippings. I let them dry and then we put them on top. Every fall we rake up all the leaves we can get. Anytime I can get my hands on wood chips is good. Hay that's not been sprayed with any kind of horrible herbicides. Straw, the same thing. And then I just layer it out 4 inches thick or thicker. Mix it together whenever I can't get enough of one. It all blends together. It all helps suppress the weeds and it all helps promote the life in the soil. And it is a long-term strategy. We want to build that life in the soil. The soil is what breaks down the rocks that make up the earth, that provides all the nutrients for your plants. So the better the mulch, the better the soil. The better the soil, the better the plants. That's the goal anyhow. And here in the new part of the garden where we have the mulch piled up really high, there's no weeds, it's doing its job. To plant in mulch, you have to pull that mulch back down to bare soil. Then you want to put the mulch back in around your plants as they grow. Otherwise, the weeds will start coming in. And right along here is the outline of the old fence, and this is all new garden, all new mulch. We dug back, we planted our onions, and we got some garlic up there. Talked a lot about making sure you get mulch back in around your plants to help suppress the weeds. This being the newest part of the garden, we did see a few little pieces of grass start coming up, but since this is onions, if you try to pull that grass up, we were pulling little onions up. And I thought this would be a great example of showing you what happens when your mulch gets a little thin, especially in a new part of the garden. Remember, when we started, it looked like this. It was solid Bermuda grass. All in all, it's done a pretty good job of suppressing the weeds. We do have this one line that we opened up to get the onions in, and it's showing a little grass. But now that we're going to harvest all these onions, we'll clean this up, we'll mulch it back heavy again. You'll never know it was here. We had a pretty good rainstorm last night, been over round 3 of the corn pretty good. It's going to stand right back up. I'm not worried about that at all. Let's go ahead and harvest some of these onions, get this grass cleaned up. Oh, something ate my onions. No. Well, that one didn't get eaten. We had a vole come through and eat some of our onions. Oh my goodness. Well, that's gardening for you. Unbelievable. Leave a comment down below if you've ever had this happen to you before, because I've never. That is amazing. Now I knew these tops were dying back, but I had no idea it was because we had a critter helping themselves to our onions. But what I was going to show you is just how easy that grass comes up. It's only got one little root. Most of this is on top, and this does need to photosynthesize. So by pulling it, if you get a little bit, you take it out. You might have to work at it, but you will get rid of this. And this is the newest part of the garden. That is disturbing. And my saying is, if I don't want to do it and I don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it. This has turned into one of those, I need to do this. This is now a rescue mission. We're going to save as many onions as we can. We put almost no worm spray on the cabbages. That's why the outer leaves weren't as good as they have been in the past. I didn't put any castor oil, and we're not using any poisons. This is not my garden. I just tend it. And what he puts here, he puts here. And I know we share some stuff. It's just kind of disappointing when you come out and you think you're going to have a big old onion, and it's all eaten out from the inside. Now, I did not put any castor oil down this line because these are onions. And from everything everybody's ever told me, onions produce some kind of chemical that, yeah, well, put a lot of castor oil where these sweet potatoes are so they wouldn't get eaten. I guess I drove them to the onions. That's another part of the mulch. You don't know what's going on underneath. there's a whole community of life. But all of those tunnels, all of those holes that the worms make, that the voles make, allow for that water. Wednesday, we had a 3-inch downpour. Last night, we had another ½ inch. I'm out here dry, and it's a really nice afternoon. So if I'm gonna do a rescue mission, today's the day to do it. I don't know, the critters might like purple more than they like yellow. These aren't half bad. So the day's not all lost, but that's gardening for you. You can do this too, and you don't always get a home run. But let's see what else we can get. That patch is still cleaning up pretty nice. And this grass in the mulch, that's just running right underneath. So that pulls up really easy. And believe it or not, this is gonna be the best onion harvest we've ever had. We're gonna have enough to can, we're gonna have enough to eat. We got past the onions, and here, I was thinking we didn't have any garlic. You know, we planted this late winter. We did get a frost. I didn't know if we had enough time for these to bulb out. But they're deeper than I thought they were, so I'm gonna have to dig a little bit. Well, let's go lay these out to cure. Then we gotta get some mulch. We got a couple low spots. So all I do is go ahead and just spread the onions out, let them dry. Planted this garlic late enough in the winter, I was sure hoping we'd catch some frost. Looked like it did okay. Now that we've got that little chore done, let's talk about mulch. What kind of mulch do I use? Now I'll show you just exactly how we're gonna backfill this trench. So what I've been doing is just pulling this mulch back as we've been going. But that takes it down to bare soil. And since we did have onions growing here, I don't really want to plant anything. So, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recycle this bag. I'm gonna fold that up. I'm gonna set it on the soil, right in that trench. Then we'll take this shredded paper, we'll put that on top of here. Then we're gonna come back with some wood chips. We're just gonna scatter that on top of that. Then I'm gonna take what I've been pulling along, I'm gonna add to that, onion tops and all. Now we're at the 4-inch mark. Open that up a little bit. Do the same thing. Now, use onion tops, put them back in the trench. Now, I don't have any grass clippings or hay or anything else right now, so I'm just using what I got. Shredded up paper, some Riley hair. It's all good. It's all organic. You'll be surprised at how fast that breaks down. But we want to make sure we have 4 inches right here. Let's go get some more mulch. And we're right back where we started this morning. But the deep mulch, it's a long game. And by looking at it, you're not exactly going to be sure what's going on underneath or even how thick it is. So you need to keep testing. And if you do start getting some weeds coming through, that's your key indicator that it's not thick enough. You're just going to need to add some. Add some what? Whatever you can get your hands on. Leaves, fresh mown grass, hay that's not been treated, straw, wood chips, shredded paper, cardboard, paper bags, the dog hair you vacuum up out of the living room. It's all organic. It all mixes together. It all feeds that life in the soil, which feeds your plants. Sometimes you have to share a little bit with those critters, but that's the trade-off from not using any kind of poisons or chemicals. It's your choice, but you can do this too. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant. Let's go plant garden.